think we are live. Hello, friends and fellow gamers. I am That Zero, and we are back with episode 4 of Cap Race, Last Cloudia podcast, and I am joined by my co-hosts, Jawline Coon.
What's up, guys?
And DK. How's it going, man?
What's going on, guys? Yeah, what's going on, guys?
All right, so today in Last Cloudia, or this week in general, not a ton is really going on. We are in the final stretch of the Nier collab. Main new thing that we got going on is the time trial, so I figured we could probably start talking about that. So how has your guys' time trial experience been so far?
I just got bumped down to rank 8, so that's nice.
Still, top
All
10
these
is
hackers,
pretty impressive. Man. Yeah. Luckily, on that note, though, I mean, Adis has already announced that they've identified numerous cheaters in the ranks. So they've already said that I believe they're going to be getting bans and being excluded from final rankings. So, yeah, should not be completely accurate with where your rank is. You should be down there a little bit more, hopefully.
Mm-hmm. But
Yeah.
I think the time trial is pretty cool. I mean, I actually had to play the game for once, so it was a change of pace.
Yeah, I like it. So what's your best time right now? What are you sitting at?
Mine is 139. I haven't tried since then, but it's 139 right now.
Damn, I might be able to make it to Mother by then. How about you, DK? How's your stuff going? Have you at least gotten a complete, or you still perfecting the team?
Yeah, so I've completed it once. I just checked right now. I'm at 66, which is not that bad for really. That was I think it might have been my second run.
Well, that's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not too bad. God, Jaw, really, 139. You said 139?
Mm-hmm.
God, I'm already going into depression mode. No, but yeah. So right now I'm just kind of testing out the teams, see what's working best for me. We all know I figured out the order of course the last part we already know what was going to happen there.
Yeah.
And then Mother's a little sneaky, so I'm still trying to figure that out, whether to use like Merity or somebody else, or I know Alice has a pretty good run there that I've seen on a couple people. Unfortunately, I don't have her, so I have to figure another way on how to do that. But as I have beaten Mother in the original story, or not the storyline, but the original world bosses, and by far for me, I think she was the most difficult. So the fact that they brought Mother back into this is actually really, really cool, considering that we're dealing with a lot more machines.
Mm-hmm.
So overall, the trials, I'm actually really enjoying it. And I'm actually playing Nier right now, so I'm kind of like I don't know, vibing off the music from the game and I actually fought the boss that we fought in here already. In the actual Nier game on PS4.
Was it more fun in the actual game?
Dude, it really was. No, I actually got like real nerdy when it popped out. I was like, oh my god, I know her. But yeah, no, I really, really enjoyed it, and I really just, I guess, I've owned the game for quite some time, and I kind of never really paid attention too much to the music, but that soundtrack is unbelievable. If you guys haven't checked it out, do it. If you guys are enjoying the soundtrack in here, it really is something else. But
Sweet.
The challenges overall, the time trials, I'm working on it. I'm probably in the same boat as you right now, Zero. But of course, I do have Great War of Ruin, which that is like a big part of it. So.
Yeah. For people that have it, I bet it works real well. So yeah, for me, I keep restarting. I have not gotten my single clear. I don't think it's not because I can't. I guarantee I can, but I keep getting a little ways in, and I'm like, oh, I should totally switch over and do this thing. So I'll just back out and try again. I compare it to like when you were playing an RPG and you get like 3 or 4 hours in it and you're like, oh man, my upper lip looks real jank in that cutscene. We'll just start again anyway and make a new character. And it just can't. Or like, oh, now that I know how this system works, I should have allotted 3 more skill points into this one. Let's restart with the perfect character. I'll get there. But I definitely feel like I'm not going to be able to rank too high just because the clear meta on that wave 3 is to have basically 0 time with Great War of Ruin and Lukiel, and I just don't have Great War Ruin, so gonna have to do something else for that. I'll probably just have to go in with like Roy maybe and just try to nuke with that. I don't know.
Man, if I had Roy, I could probably have a faster time. to be honest.
I think my mentality for the first wave or the first round is probably going to be Ed or Roy or both to get through. Seems like I can clear relatively good, and then I'm probably going to have to steal Jawline's technique for the second one and use Swimsuit Alice's ult and try to see if I can make that work. Maybe.
Pew pew.
Yeah, the super hyper burst ult, but
Yep,
we'll see. I'd also like to talk about some tech that Jawline taught me that I didn't know existed in the game. So in general, like, you charge your ult by getting hits in general, and like some things can charge a little bit quicker than others. But one thing I didn't know that's apparently been in the game forever is OG Lilibet, the just main cast Lilibet. Her S2, if you use it and it's like a rain of arrows, and then you switch over to a different unit, those hits count for a different unit. And it's a lot of hits, so especially if you like do it on a mob of enemies or whatever, that will help charge the other person's ult. So if there's like a mob of enemies and she uses that and you switch over, it's like baby like Great War. Like you can get ults in seconds because of OG Lilibet. It's crazy, and I did not know it was in the game, and it's gonna change things forever for me. So I need to get her like at least some HP so she can exist in the party and like a very minor build just so she can support, because that's super cool. I didn't know that, and that's really, really awesome.
The more you know.
Yeah, the more you know. And I also just love anytime we find any sort of use for like non-meta units, like Gobble OP. Like, yeah, Gobble is he's real good, but like, he's kind of a meme character until you know he's good, because he's just like a little goblin, which is always like the funniest shit to pick on. But
where's the yeah that Lilibet thing? Yeah, it's been since day one. Of course, it didn't come to light until Reaper boss came out,
okay.
and some JP users actually used that to clear it with like Gen 1 units.
Cool.
So that was pretty cool. But before then, it's been in the game since day one, but just nobody knew until, I guess, that person uploaded that video or
That's
whatever.
a weird thing. Like, you need to, one, have her in your party, which who's going to do that? And
Right.
then two, like, have to
Yeah.
use a specific skill and then, like, be swapping over to see that there's a weird interaction going on. So, yeah, it's really cool, though. So, be interesting as over time, like, what other things like that we find. Because I guarantee there's so much, like, little weird, nuancy stuff that, like, we just don't know. 'Cause there's so much hidden crap in here. But anyway, time trial's super cool. I like it a lot. I think it forces people to go in and do things extra, put their big boy pants on and really try, which is where I think Last Cloudia really thrives. Like, when you're given a genuine challenge to solve and a puzzle and you need to, like, figure out the best way to do it, it just kind of makes the whole process worthwhile, I think, within the game. Though one of my criticisms of it is I've talked to some different people in the Reddit and things that were kind of upset about how they handled the normal mode, which Adis has kind of addressed, but I don't think they actually did it appropriately. So normal mode, to me, one, they put the unique item behind there, right? So we got the unique accessory, which was the plus 10% damage against weak and like almost 60 strength, which is like really good actually as an accessory. It's quite solid. So like in general, if you're a new player and you see something that's level 40 and normal, you probably want to get that. The problem is they made it also be a 3-party fight. It's a pretty easy fight, but it's a 3-party fight, and if a brand new account comes in and is playing correctly, you should be putting all your resources into 1 DPS, maybe a secondary DPS, but like if you're doing what you're supposed to, you're not going to have 3 DPS units to even go and like solo each of those things, even at level 40, which is like, it's really not thought out well for what it is. So they came out and was like, hey, we heard everybody's complaints. We're going to lower the difficulty even further on normal so people can go and do this easier and get those rewards, which is great. I think hearing the community's feedback and then coming in and actually updating things is good. But that solution, I think, is kind of ignorant of the core problem, in my opinion. I wish they would have just made it be that the normal mode was a single team that just looped through all the fights. So, like, new players could be like, okay, I have my 1 DPS, my support that I've made, maybe a sub-DPS. They can go through and do all the fights, and then I can collect my rewards. I get to experience all the things or whatever. But, like, forcing them into 3 different teams when they probably have 1 good unit, maybe 2, like, it's just not very well thought out, and it kind of unteaches people to play the right way, which I dislike. So, I think that was a slight misstep, but I'm glad they at least made it easier. Hopefully people will be able to get through it a little bit easier with minimal side investment. But
Yeah, I agree.
yeah. In addition to that update, they're also updating fishing, which is neat, I guess, for people that cared. Making it easier to go get a big...
for the big catches.
Yeah.
Hey, man, I love the fishing.
Big catch on swordfish, so if anybody was mad that they've spent a bunch of hours trying to get that and they haven't yet, they are fixing that drop rate, so... Or the spawn
The
rate.
fact
So.
that I didn't even realize that it was bad to begin with. I was like, oh, it's just not my day to catch this big guy.
Yeah, for me...
I'll probably sit there for hours,
Yeah.
knowing me.
I just took that 80-20 principle in that whole thing and was like, all right, I'm going to catch the bare minimum I need to max out all my gear, and I'm walking away. I'm not doing big catches. Screw that noise.
Yeah, that's
Not
exactly
gonna do it.
right. That's what I always do. Yeah,
I think it
just
was
like fill out catching everything and then just leave. I'm
Yeah,
like,
I think I was
alright.
like maybe 2 hours fishing max, and I was like done with everything, other than the big catch, which, you know, maybe I'll go and do it, but like for a poster,
Hang it up on my wall. Hang it up on my LC wall. I wish we could. You know what I mean? I wish we could actually use those for backgrounds.
It would be cool. I mean,
yeah.
the only thing that I do like about it is I guess I can go in and like take a screenshot of it, so like I can use it as my art. But then again, I can also just go
yeah.
download it off Google. But that's
Yeah,
what
you
I've done
should,
with
yeah.
posters in the past. So like when we got like the swimsuit background, like I went and I just took a screenshot on my phone, and then that was my new wallpaper because I unlocked the poster for it. You know?
Dang, yeah. I wish we had more use for those kind of like, you know, we get like the trophies. Like I think one of them was the Bust Your Arm or whatever from Devil May Cry. We get like the little 3D models of it.
Yeah.
I really wish that we could do something with those.
Yeah,
or, I don't know.
it'd be nice if they introduced like a home base sort of thing or something where you could go and like decorate an area
A
and,
room,
like,
yes,
and like have
yes.
have like your units like going and just like living like in the area or something, you know, you have like little stuff for them to do, like
Oh my god. We
Yeah,
just
it could be
created
kinda
something
neat.
Great right now. We just
have like a guild hall basically, so like you can
Yeah.
have like your group of like 10 misfits or whatever that are all, you know, in there.
That'd be sick. That'd be
Yeah,
so
that'd be cool.
Like
Alright.
the way Monster Hunter does it, they have that room. You can kind of go in and put everything around.
Yeah, or like Arknights has like a base of operations where like people get different jobs, and then you
nice.
can have like passive resources, but then they go and like interact in like dorm rooms and stuff, and have like
Dang.
like little animations to like make them feel a little more human and alive or whatever. So
That's awesome. Yes.
yeah, you know, any amount of that type of stuff would be kind of neat.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so let's transition over to another topic. So coming up soon, we have some more unit buffs. So I was curious what you guys are kind of thinking is going to happen, or maybe hoping are happening for different units that we're actually getting. So let's go ahead and start with Gobble. As, Jawline's most anticipated.
Yeah, everybody.
Listen, that's all I care about. I don't care about any of the other units. Just give me my gobble buffs. I want destroy. Honestly, if they just gave him destroyer, I'd be happy with that. Anything else would be extra, I guess. But I think if I was to pick skills, it would be destroyer, and it would be dual wield. That's it.
Okay.
I honestly don't see what they could. I mean, they'll probably just give him like little filler stuff, like maybe HP up 3 or something.
Yeah.
I forget which one he has.
Yeah.
But they'll give him minimal stuff, just like how they did Sahagin.
Yeah.
Well, Sahagin got like for him being a monster, he got an okay buff, I suppose.
Yeah,
But
just
I'm
no
not
cap
expecting
raises.
anything crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
honestly was expecting some type of cap raise, but
Yeah.
I was pretty disappointed. That's why I didn't fifth enhance him, because he didn't get any type of cap raise. But with Gobble, I'm pretty sure no cap raises because he's not meant for damage. But again, I would just want him to get destroyer and dual wield, and that's it. That's all I want.
I
don't
definitely
care about anybody
can't. I
else.
can't see them giving him dual wield for free. It would be a huge buff, but I don't think he would get
Yeah,
that
that's
just flavor wise.
But that's
But,
what I would
yeah.
want.
Yeah, cool. All right. I haven't gotten to the point of actually using him. I don't respect the boy like you do because I'm not
What?
that far in.
What?
I think I probably would more if I had WAP or Honey Elixir, because I don't have those, and it seems like to
okay.
really utilize them fully, you need to really abuse that S3, and I don't think Glass Record would be good enough, really.
I think
I
he'd
think
like
it'd be
some
too slow.
researches. They could give him some researches to increase his.
He's got illness research.
I see the illness research,
Really?
but I think
Oh, wow.
yeah, he does have
Yeah,
illness.
Does he have
Yeah, he's
decent
got
autos? I would think he was just like a single
No.
hit crappy like.
His autos are trash.
Okay.
So I definitely foresee
Yeah.
him
So-
getting a couple of illnesses in.
So illness research is more of a flavor
that's
win
true.
because he's a gross goblin, and if you let him get too close, you're gonna get sick.
Right.
Fair. All
And
right,
yeah,
cool.
So researches and maybe an HP up, like you said. Maybe a damage up, and then of course he's going to get the what would you call it, 4-star skills all the way around. It's going to be very minimal though.
Yeah, I'm not expecting much.
Yeah, they might give him 1 extra research.
Yeah.
If they did give him 1, Jaw, what would you want as a research?
I mean, stun would be nice, but realistically, I don't see that happening. They'd probably give him like poison research, to be honest.
That's what I think too.
Poison or blind, either way.
Yeah,
I could see blind being like a goblin ambush and like getting blood in your eyes and stuff. Like, you know.
Yeah. But the thing is S3 can already inflict blind or poison.
Nice.
Well, blind, poison, and rage, which rage is pretty much silence, just not silence. It's its own ailment thing.
Better silence.
So he's already got 3 ailments right there, or 4, I guess.
I mean, hey, his level 4 bonus of it maybe could add more ailments. Like, it could also stun, like have a chance to stun as well.
I really hope they didn't see my video and nerf his insta kill. I really hope they didn't see that.
Oh god,
because his insta kill,
see what you did,
is amazing. Yeah. And I used him and DXR in tower for his insta kill, so it worked out pretty well.
Yeah, that's great. All right, moving along. Claire. How many of you have had much experience with Claire? She's pretty kind of an underground, like an underdog unit, you know?
I tried using her for break because I saw that she had Destroyer, and that was like way back then. From what I did, she didn't really do that good of a job breaking. I could try and see how she does now, but from back then, she didn't really do that much in terms of breaking.
My experience was back in the day, she had a very niche case. If you maximized her potential completely, she was a pretty big counter in arena because she can't be flinched by magic, kind of like Ruto, right? So between that and she would also get, if you could get her S3 up, it would basically be like an entire board like push and massive amount of damage. So she would kind of just be the counter to sorcerer spam back when that was the actual meta. So she would just shrug off all that stuff and then charge all of her stuff really quick with like guard charges, and then just unload either an S3 to clump everybody up and let your DPS do more, or snipe people with her S1, because her S1 is basically a non-line of sight instant damage attack that has a pretty fair amount of hits. But her modifiers have always been really garbage. So, like, unless you're stacking Slayers and crit and stuff, there's not much. So, if she gets similar updates to what we've been seeing of just like, oh, you're going to get, like, Earth Attack Raise 2, Earth Mega Drive. Like, if she got some stuff like that, her damage might actually kind of make her pretty good. She'll obviously need cap raises if she was going to do much more because she has such a tank focus. But my suspicion is she'll probably end up being like Lance Veil, which from what I've heard from DK, even with the updates, like still not good enough at all.
No, so. he's mediocre. She's probably gonna get like a Hammer Mega Boost to help out with some cap.
I'm sure.
I've also seen, this is actually something I haven't seen been used a lot, is a regular attack boost. That is really cool.
That would be good, because doesn't she have a similar regular attack to Merity, where it's like double hits or something? I thought she had something like that. No? Okay.
No.
Okay, so it's just a similar animation where it's just like an AoE ground pound, basically. Yeah, her regular attacks are pretty bad, because she's like that hyper slow archetype of moving, and there's not much fixing it.
No, her regular kit does come with Earth Attack Raise 2, so that's actually pretty interesting. I wonder what else they're going to possibly add to this. Like I said, it won't be too much. They'll probably add a little bit extra to her traits, which magical attacks don't make her flinch. So I don't know what more they can do. They may add like an extra ability to that. And then they have Destroyer, which what Jaw wants for Gobble, greatly boost break. And then she's going to get an all-around buff to skills. So yeah, we might see maybe 4k extra cap on her. Maybe.
I guess it depends what they want to do. Maybe they want to make her kind of a tanky breaker and like lean into that. So like maybe a level 4 trait will just straight up add like plus 100% break. You know,
and then that,
or like if hammer equipped, break plus 100% or something weird. You know, so like maybe they'll try to force that. Or I don't know. I can't see it. So that she's the biggest question mark for me. just because she doesn't.
Yeah.
She doesn't have much of an identity to me. Like, she wants to be like kind of tanky against mages, and then like I don't know, be sort of bruisery, but like I don't know. She's really boring right now.
Really odd. Yeah, she's an odd character.
Yeah.
She's just
one thing slow. I did try to do back then was I think she do some kind of like AoE explosion after she dies or something.
Yeah, she can suicide.
Yeah, I tried to reach cap on that. It didn't work out too well. Like I tried to make it so she would reach cap on her explosion.
In towers, have you guys ever been one-shotted by it? Because I now.
Oh, in tower, yeah, definitely.
Completely stay away from her.
We need to make that be the new meta in arena, because everything just nukes. The answer is we just make it so that we nuke and then kill everyone with martyrdom damage.
Yes, exactly.
And I wanted to mention one thing. It's not that big of a deal, but it's how you E5 or 5th enhanced Lance Veil. Lance Veil is actually the only one that has anything to do with Gobble's rage ailment.
Really?
Because Lance, I think Lance either gets some kind of buff from rage or he is immune to rage. But he's the only unit that has anything to do with it, and then Gobble's the only unit that has rage.
That's very weird.
It's kind of weird.
I wonder if we'd see rage in the
damage. Oh, what were you saying?
I was gonna say, I wonder if we'll see rage in the future again. Like, it's a pretty neat mechanic in general. Like the idea of like taunting and stuff, taunting and rage, and I mean, Rudo's the closest thing to rage that we've had, which kind of grabs hold of like what you're able to do and forces you to do something else.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
To answer your question, it is actually more likely to be targeted by enemies, but rage resistance is +2. If weak to rage, become resistant to rage. It's called level-headed.
Okay,
so if anything,
it's useless.
It's anti-rage.
Yeah. All right.
But yeah, pretty cool.
So moving right along, Celios. I mean, I think I have a pretty good idea of what we're likely to see in Celios myself.
I'm excited for that one.
I would imagine they'd push him up to be an ice single wielder. Like, I would hope he's gonna get. I would expect. Yeah, like he was always run with dual wield. Yeah, like he's like a samurai, dude.
Yeah, but everybody used him in dual wield. Why would he be single wield out of nowhere?
I know, but they're trying to push single wield. So I'm saying I would not be surprised in the slightest if they pushed him as a single wield ice DPS. Made one of his level 4 upgrades, like, oh, when equipped with only one sword, you get like plus 10k damage cap, and then you give him favored sword, give him doppelhander. You probably get like a weak point boost and ice high drive or something. Like, he's not going to be crazy, but he probably could still fit that role, and it would probably work. I would not be surprised at all if we saw that.
Well, I do think that he's for sure going to get. I think it's safe to say that Sevia, Celios, maybe even Claire, they'll get damage caps. But I know Tinky and Gobble, I highly doubt they'll get damage caps. But the other three, yeah.
But Tink has Holy Aura, though. She does damage.
Oh shit, you're right. You're right. You're correct. 5k cap right there.
Oh man.
Every single percentage buff just to hit it.
I don't think you. Yeah, but with what? Like, with what skill? She literally doesn't even do damage, really.
Dual wield berserker.
Jesus.
Let's get it. Maglion.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Hey, she does come with Goddess Kiss.
No.
And she comes with Goddess Kiss. It's such a joke, man. It's so fun.
I do think Celios is going to be kept a dual wield, to be honest. I don't know if, like, they're trying to push single wield, but I don't know. I still think
they probably won't do it.
Yeah, it could be. They
won't do it.
Yeah, they could just give him the general treatment they've been giving everybody, like 5 to 8k damage cap.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe add like weak point boost and ice high drive.
You know, I could see those.
Things like that. That's probably the most likely thing, but I wouldn't mind having him actually be boosted up as like a single wield person.
If you look at his traits, they're all single text. Like, there's only one line of text. When ice attack hits weakness 40%, they're probably gonna add so much more to each trait. I think we're gonna start seeing more trait stuff than we are maybe skill board.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be great because they can add whatever they want to that trait. And of course, that's all going to happen at battle start. So that's actually, I feel like it's really, really good.
I wouldn't be surprised if they gave him something kind of like Roy as well, which is like the built-in weak point boost that's not weak point boost, just because for me at least, like the main reason to use Celios was if something was weak to ice. Like that was like his thing, was he just murdered things that were weak to ice. Because I think that's already part of his one of his passives, isn't it? Like, isn't he extra good against things?
Yeah, he's good.
Okay,
40%, I believe.
So, like, they might even do something, like, basically give him, like, how one of Roland's buffs was he basically got Eldravana built into his passive. Like, Celios could literally get Icy Guardian.
Eldravana.
Yeah, but, like, he could literally get Icy Guardian built into himself. Like, maybe, all of your crits do an extra, like, 20% ice damage or something. Like, that would be a big deal,
cool.
you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, lots of things they could do with him, potentially. Cool. Thunderbolts.
It would be interesting if they like buffed them according to their arcs, just like like how you mentioned Roland. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Aside from that, again, I can see definitely damage cap, weak point boost, either ice drive or ice high drive for sure.
Ice high drive. The biggest problem with Celios for me was his defense. I felt like he just could not take hits very well, so I would like to see maybe some kind of...
Oh, he's super squishy.
Yeah, maybe he doesn't come with royal armor. Maybe royal armor? I don't know. Yeah, he doesn't come with it. I do have it on him, though.
Yeah, royal
like
armor
even Awakened would be nice.
Yeah. Yeah, any
he
type of
like has armor on. I mean...
yeah, any type of survivability would be really nice.
Yes, I think that's like his main thing. I used to love using the character, but man, he'd be the first to drop if it was like if he especially getting attacked by lightning, which is a huge weakness for him, and he doesn't really have much resistance of fire either. It's only at 5, so no. But I really like the character. I'm actually really excited for his buff.
Yeah, he was my main for the longest time. I think until I got Logia, Celios was my main, and he dominated everything. I mean, when he first came out, he was like pushed. You know, he was basically a DOH unit when he dropped. He just, got crept by actual DOH like a month later. But, I mean, he came with, like, doesn't he have, like, auto crit, Proud Force, Post for Honor, or Post for Glory, I mean. Like, I think he has some of the crit package. Like, he was built as DPS were. Yeah, he's got Ardor. Yeah, so.
I made an ult. I think it was in, like, I think it was in JP. When he came out in JP... so a long time ago, I made an alt using Celios, and let me tell you what, the snow area using Celios, not a good idea at all. I was doing 1 damage. I was like, bro, this is horrible.
Oh, man.
I do not recommend doing this.
Yeah, that's fun.
He does come with Slayers though, which is actually really interesting. He comes with Soldier and Sorcerer, and then he comes with Night Killer and Sniper Killer. Which is
imagine if they gave him Human Slayer.
Yeah, he's got bad Human Slayer. He's got Human Slayer, but it takes up 4 slots on his board. Like,
yeah,
it'd be better to just have Human Slayer with special boost than those 4 notes. Like that'd be pretty great if he got special boost. That wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility either.
Oh no, not at all. Yes,
you totally get special boost.
That would be really, really good. Dang, yeah, this kit is going to be a lot of fun when we start seeing it.
Yeah,
especially for speculation. I think we pretty much nailed it. What we're probably going to see on him.
Yeah. All right, next, Thunderbolt Sevia. I'm excited for her.
Yeah.
I'm very excited for her because when she came out, she was kind of unique because she was one of the first like physical DPS units we had that had high mind. So like her Proud Force hits actually healed like a pretty good amount, and she was like sort of hybridy, but not much. Just like she could competently God heal instead of just like has God heal, like what DPS were at the time. But she never really did it for me. She seemed good in concept, but using her didn't feel that great. And like, I think it was mostly her kit though, which is why I'm kind of concerned about her updates. Like, she requires positioning for pretty much all of her attacks except for like her S3, but her attacks move her position to force her to reposition all the time. Like if you S2, which is like a jump in the air and then dive down, and then try to S1, she has to move to then S1. Or if you S1 too many times, she has to back up to keep S1ing. Like, that's her biggest issue to me, is like, she's so position dependent, but she is contrary to herself. So on the DPS side, when she's supposed to be a combo master, she inherently hurts herself. And I hate it. So
it's funny with T Sevia, I don't know if it was in the JP only or if it was also in global, but I think T Sevia was the only unit to ever have a preview. It was like a little preview showcase where you could use her, and you would get some gems from completing the little preview. I think it was like a total of either 100 or you get like 30, 30, 30, and then maybe 50. But I think she was the only unit to ever get that. I don't remember if it was in global or if it was in JP.
Okay. Yeah, that's super cool. I really wish that we got something like that. Like, the only comparison I really have is like Genshin. Every time a new character comes out, we get to take them into like a playtest like area and do a mission in order to go and just test out the unit, see how it feels, decide if we want to drop money on it. Like, why don't we do that? Like,
I thought that was cool. I don't know why they took it out.
Yeah, that's super cool. That sounds great. I would love to have like a little test sandbox every time we get a new unit, or like for any unit that's on a current banner, like just let us go into some sandbox mode and just test out their stuff. That sounds really great.
If we'd like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
That would be super, super cool. All right. Dang. But anyway, as far as her updates, I'm expecting obviously cap raises, maybe some more crit stuff. I can't think of anything really fancy aside from like sword mega boost and things like that. Maybe she'll get more with combo stuff, but I mean, some movement speed buffs would be nice, but I doubt they would do that.
You and your movement speed.
She's gonna get Thunder Attack Rage 2 or a Thunder High Drive, one of the other, or she might even get a Mega for that 2K cap.
She might get all three. I mean, Fall did.
Yeah.
Fall got. Fall got like Brute Slayer, Thunder Raise 2, I think Thunder High Drive, or one other one than that. Like, we could see all of them on Sevia.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think the cap raise will probably go up to like 16K, possibly, maybe probably, a little bit higher.
Somewhere between 5 and 8. Probably not as high as 8 though. It seems like they're doing that on like the slower, like lower hit count people like Dill. So yeah, I'd expect 5 or 6.
And then of course we'll see buffs on traits. And you'll probably, we'll probably see, that's where we'll probably see a lot of the damage cap stuff is for like the Twin Blade Thunder. Maybe when hitting weak with Thunder increased by 3K, something like that. It's gonna be some kind of gimmick.
Now, something that would be really cool that would give her new utility, but of course I doubt we would get it, is if it was something like her level 4 of one of those dual sword ones is if equipped with 2 swords and combo is like over 100, physical attacks gain the chance to apply stun. Or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Like something like that would actually kind of like change like her utility and like make her something special, because then she could suddenly be like, you could actually run her as like that type of a thing, because she's already actually pretty good at doing ailments because she's got a good hit count and comes with dual wield, and you can do like the witch house on her that like doubles it if you're a female, like the chance to apply those type of effects
against males though.
Oh, it's only against males? Oh.
Yeah, it does. If you're a female, it doubles it against males.
Okay. Yeah, so that's a little bit niche. But either way, it'd be neat since her whole thing was kind of to be like, 80% DPS with like a small like healing support role. So maybe having a little bit more support somehow would be kind of neat. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, her Twin Blade Thunder, I could see that one getting some damage cap, and then her 11, I don't even know how to pronounce it. I'm not even gonna try it. Her second trait, how is it?
It's I guess Levine or Levin Life Yield.
11 life yield. Okay, all right, that makes sense. But I could see the second one having some kind of like combo restricted thing.
Yeah.
So.
Maybe like the chance of it proccing is like doubled or tripled when you get over a combo point, which actually could be good, because that's one of the only things that really made her stand out was, when we didn't have much for SCT abuse, she did have it built in, because she has the same passive basically as Kohaku, which is just like your physical attacks have a chance to give you some SCT. So like if they increase the odds of that proccing, like she could just be chaining things together a ton more without having to have like Honey Elixir or Glass Record or whatever. So if maybe that 4th upgrade increases that percentage or gives you a condition on increasing it, like combo count, maybe she could be really relentless on like dishing out damage potentially.
So what it's probably going to say is medium chance to recover.
Yeah, but like as we've seen, that could be a big thing. Like if it's 1% right now and it goes to 2%, like sometimes it's a big deal,
I'm looking at the skills that I have on her, and I feel like maybe Sword High Boost would be another node that they'd add.
100%.
Because she comes with Sword Boost, but not Sword High Boost. I think, didn't they give that to regular Sevia as well? I honestly
Probably,
don't remember.
yeah. I think 100%. I would be surprised if she doesn't get Sword High Boost, in fact. Like, she should totally have that put on her for free. It's either that or she'll get Sword Mega Boost, just so that there's still something to teach her that's, like, obvious on an arc, but... Yeah.
It'd be easier to get that extra cap too without having to put in so many nodes. It would kind of like bypass the first two.
Yep.
Let's see. Yeah, I don't know if she came with. Like I'm looking through Sevia's board right now, and I don't see any hype boosts. Actually, I don't have her Awaken 5, so it might be on that. So I wouldn't be able to know. So out of all the new units, what do you guys think you guys gonna unlock first? Or the
Well, there is one more. There's one more to talk about, which we talked about a little bit before we got on
let's
here.
go into that first.
And that is Tinkili. So,
yeah.
as we know, supports are pretty rare in this game, so any of them that we have are usually really valuable. Lena, top tier. Theria, best unit in the game. Gen, pretty broken. Like, there's quite a few that are good, but we don't have a ton of options. Tank, though she's old, is really good. Like, she's the best offensive buffer that we have in the game still, with what she has to offer. Her biggest downfall is her sustain over time. Just her MP regeneration is pretty much non-existent, so something as simple as auto advanced magic circle and maybe even getting like God Heal innate suddenly makes her like a super good pick for like a new account to start with, and could also scale into endgame, in my opinion. So like that's my biggest hope, is that she gets auto advanced magic circle, because that would be massive. Beyond that, I don't know, maybe just more buffs in general. I don't know. I don't even know what else she can necessarily use, but what are you guys' thoughts?
Ailment resistances and maybe, yeah. If you look at her attribute and ailment resistance, they're pretty bad. Nothing to curse or stun, resistance to illness, and then the only thing you're nil to is silence. Other than that, you're pretty much successful to getting any type of these. Which, you know, if we're kind of using, you know, abilities or her S1, S2, S3. You know, that curse can really knock her out. Yeah, so that'd be kind of cool to see maybe some of her ailment resistance go up a little bit.
Yeah, I wonder if maybe... So they've never adjusted any ailment stuff on any of these buffs, so I wouldn't expect that.
No, they have not.
But what they could do is they could incorporate something like that into skills.
Yeah.
So like, for instance, she has her S1 that she sends it out, it does like basically no damage, and then provides a small buff, and then if you're a human, provides all the humans on your team with a bigger buff. It could be something like, also, if you're human... apply the like either a buff that gives you like a +1 to all ailments, or gives you that buff that like nullifies the next ailment you would take, because we've seen that a few times on like either spells or arcs or whatever. So like maybe some way of supporting the team that could help some other way like that.
Which would make a lot of sense because she does buff the team, right? And we were talking about it earlier that, you know, like what more can she do? So like that would actually make a lot more sense that she actually helps out with attribute and ailment resistances. So no, that's actually a really brilliant idea for her if they do it.
Yeah, the thing with Tinkili is that she's meant for meant for long fights, because I mean, one skill that she has lasts long, 90 seconds into surviving each wave. User gives all allies permanent brave, aura, metis, and fort. So
100%.
Yeah,
I mean that's pretty good,
Yeah,
but
it is.
again, it's the 90 seconds, so it's got to be a lengthy fight for her to like excel. And her S2 or no S3 activates a barrier to have physical damage for all allies, which is its own icon. So it could stack with, you know, if you were still using Theria along with Tinkili, it would stack with that. Her ult buffs allies physical, it gives them skill damage, I think it's 50%, and it also increases their break damage, so they do more break.
One of the best ults in the game, like for aggro, especially because go ahead, sorry.
No, she's a great support for sure, but the thing is, she's got to be used in long fights, and the way the way AOC is now is you're trying to end things quick, so she doesn't really get used, and if she does get used, it's probably just for memes because of her ult, you know.
Yeah.
But as far as like buffs, like what they would add to her, honestly, yeah, I think what you guys had mentioned earlier, like some ailment resistances, or maybe like a barrier that nullifies one ailment inflicted, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't know how else they could make her any better, because for what she does, used where she is supposed to be used in a long fight, she does her job really well, to be honest.
I think I would almost argue that doesn't necessarily have to be in a long fight to get like her stuff. Like she has her one passive that is quite good to help with that. But you said that it gives basically like aura and brave and some other buff. I don't remember what the other ones were.
Brave, aura, fort, and metis. It's permanent.
Yeah, so that I don't think is even that huge of a thing. Like they're stat buffs, and most people will usually come with autos in probably one of those or two. So like it probably doesn't really matter that much, but the fact that like her passive that makes it so based on the number of things on the board, like your team and enemies, she gets her ult quicker. She gets her ult super duper fast. So her like plus 50% skill damage and break damage is up almost all the time. Like it charges quicker than that timer for like how long the buff lasts. So like you can get it in like a one-ways boss fight pretty fast usually, especially if there's multiple enemies. So it works. I think it works pretty well. But then in a long fight, like the MP that she has going on isn't that great. I do think like, yeah, if she gets into a long fight, she gives you a bunch of extra benefits, which is really great. But yeah, she works.
You mentioned MP. And that devotion skill back. I mean, 50% SDR in int at the cost of all her HP and MP. That's no longer like.
Yeah.
Like back then, that was a pretty significant buff.
Yeah.
But nowadays, that's well, for one, like you said, she doesn't really have any MP regen. And so once you use this, that's it. Where's all your MP at? She does have Magna Exciter, so that's pretty cool. All allies physical attack power plus 20%. So it's basically Pirate's Flag, but you can reapply it. It's its own icon.
Yeah,
so
I mean it's great. That's one of the best reasons to use her. And I think it's important for people to know that maybe just aren't too familiar with her, is because that's a physical attack buff, and her ult is skill damage that all stacks. So like if you're not capping,
it's his own
you're
icon
capping.
too, so. Right, yeah.
Like she is brutal for making sure you are doing the most damage possible. But yeah, I don't know. I'm excited to see what they do for her. MP regeneration. I think is the biggest deal, but maybe they could even make it like right now. Her one trait is like if she's wearing like clothes, 2 accessories, and a staff or whatever, like she kind of modifies and like makes things have a better effect. Maybe they'll enhance that further in some regard. Like maybe they'll have something on there that changes devotion to be relevant again. You know, like maybe in addition to the stuff, what if they change devotion to giving those buffs and basically being honey elixir? Like basically tanks her stuff. Well, it wouldn't be as abusable as most other units with it, but like she would be somebody that could like do something like that. Or if not honey elixir, then it could even be something like give 2 stocks to like 1 or 2 stocks to the unit or something to like all skills, you know? So like there's things you could do that could make it be a little bit more worthwhile. But I don't know, we'll see.
They haven't touched magic, or they haven't reworked previous units' spells, right?
No, not really. No,
yeah,
not at all.
So I don't think they would mess.
Yeah, probably not.
But it would be cool, like you said. Yeah, it would be cool if they did something to them. But the probability is probably not that high.
Yeah, it's pretty low. But a girl can dream.
Holy Aura, what a very misplaced.
And Goddess Kiss. She can't use
pretty
either.
interesting.
I mean,
She can't use either of them. It's so bad.
I love the decoy, but
No,
Goddess Kiss.
A Holy
and-
Aura would be so much better if it was like plus 50% to all stats on a weapon. Like it increases the base MP, increases your defense and mind if it has any. Like because if you could take a staff with 200 MD and turn it into 300, like, that's actually a pretty good effect that could be, like, for a healer, you know? So
the thing with Holy Aura is the weapon stats have to be stupidly high for this, because it's 20%. So it would have to be high for this to even matter.
Yeah. So it's weird and silly. I don't know why they did that. It's such a wasted slot. Just give us auto advance, please. Auto
advance circles would have been nice.
Yeah. So that's the biggest hope. If we do that, she becomes a relevant support again, in my eyes. If she gets auto advanced magic circle, she can compete with some others. She's not going to be Lena or Theria levels, but she's up there for sure.
She does come with MP4 and MP3, and at the time she was the only unit with MP4, so that's cool.
Yeah, that's really great. I think she might still be the only one that comes with it innately. Like, I think you have to teach it.
I can't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, not that it really matters.
Yeah, I just can't remember. You might be right though.
Yeah. Either way, small fun facts that are irrelevant. Moving on. All right, so Jawline, you posed a question earlier, not in the podcast, before the podcast, and I think it would be interesting to talk about. Where would the state of LC be if we never got cap raises introduced into the game?
I think it would be interesting, but at the same time, I feel like it would be boring.
Yeah.
Because, like, have we seen from all the units? Who was it? Balin was the one that came with the first damage cap, correct? If I remember right.
It was either Balin or Roland. I don't remember who came first.
It was Balin.
It was
Balin.
Charisma.
Okay. Yeah. So when Balin came out and his charisma 2K, it was like, oh snap, 2K more damage for the party.
To be clear,
and that was cool.
For anybody that didn't live in that world, that meant literally all your DPS units got a 20% increase to their damage ceiling, which is stupid good. Like, that is obscene how incredibly broken he was at that time.
Yeah. So I think it would have been like, so from the units from Balin all the way up until now, we've seen, their damage cap and what they come with their kit. And I feel like if they didn't remove, or if they didn't add cap raises, I feel like those units would be completely different from what they are now. Because, I mean, at that time, I'm pretty sure we were already hitting 999. So units after Balin, it wouldn't have an issue hitting 999. So it's either they would have had to have made the boss, like, I don't know, super ailment resistant or something in order for us to work towards reaching that damage cap. So I think it would have been interesting, but at the same time, it would have been boring because not only from the units and with their kits, but also that the skills that we get from arcs, we have so much more utility and damage modifiers that reaching that damage cap wouldn't be an issue.
Yeah.
So I think it would be boring.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that all it does is it just shifts the focus. Like, right now, we focus on two things when we're looking to maximize damage and, like, who's good and who's the best at dealing damage, and that's both damage cap and hit count. It just becomes, at that point, then, strictly hit count. Like, hit count and animation speed, technically. So, like, you could do 100 hits, but if it takes you 10 seconds to get that 100 hits, then it's not really that. It doesn't matter. But when you have quick animations and high hit counts, then the damage cap doesn't matter quite as heavily because you start counteracting it with the amount of times you're ticking for that damage.
Right.
But that's kind of the same conversation. Like, that's, I think another interesting thing would be, like, what if cap raises, or what if damage caps in general weren't in the game? Things were just balanced around, like, if you maximize everything, this unit, it is not possible to get over, like, 50k damage or something. So, like, damage caps is, like, literally the amount of effort you can put in like debuffing and buffing and, like, putting things in, and then things were just balanced around that, like most games are, because damage caps are not a common thing, at least in my experience. That's something that LC seems to do kind of uniquely.
Right. And now, you mentioned that, and now that I've never thought about it until now, but yes, I think LC is the only one that's uniquely done that, like damage cap, right?
Yeah. I'm sure there's other examples, but I can't think of any off the top of my head, though. Because, like, when I saw it, I didn't think it was, like, the most ludicrous thing to hear.
Right.
But if I think about it now, like, every other game is uncapped completely. So if you can hit
That's
like
true.
2 million damage on a hit, like you can do it and make that into a meme video. Here it's just like, oh, we know what the cap is, but can somebody hit it? You know?
Right.
Yes, tweaks can. Moving on. But like, yeah, so it could be really interesting. And like, as we've seen with like A2, if we had no damage cap, she actually might be one of the most broken units that we have. Because I've seen the damage she can output in like imperfect situations. Like, I don't know if you guys saw what Tweaks did in one of his. Obviously, we can't replicate what Tweaks does, but we could get somewhere between, like, the standard of damage cap and, like, what Tweaks could do. But he was capping at, like, the over 70k. We'll even say without the extra stuff, like 68k, whatever it is, basically, against Lambda, who has 80 light resist without Trish. Which means minimum, that's, like, over 350k you would be hitting if it wasn't resisted and uncapped. Like, minimum, you know? So, like, if we had no caps in the game, certain units, like, it just changes the scope of how things work, because hit count doesn't matter anymore. Hit count doesn't matter when it's about the types of hits. And then units like Shin could probably shine more, where, like, you have very, very low hit count, but maybe you can hit, like, you can hit 50k cap really easily, but it's only for, like, a hit. It doesn't matter. But maybe if that one hit was at, like, 200k, suddenly they start having more value, you know? So
I'd really like to see how much S Alice can hit. You guys had her, so you guys know how early on she caps at.
yeah,
Pretty early.
Nero
Yeah,
too.
so-
Nero takes like 0 effort to cap.
Right, yeah. But Alice is on another like wavelength when it comes back. I couldn't believe some of the things that I was seeing,
Yeah.
I think I saw level 20
Yeah,
with like half a board and they were capping. And so now I'm like, really, now that we're talking about unleash caps, I wonder how well she would do.
I also want to talk on her really, really quick as a very slight tangent, because I thought about this the other day, but like the reason that she works as a dual element character, because many of them have failed in the past. Dyne was bad. BB Shin was awful. Merity was the first one that was like, okay, this is good, and she was good because she was neutral damage unless they were negative, and then you started doing lightning damage. And then if you were doing lightning damage, like she also came with some passives to help your lightning damage as well, is neutral. So
Yeah.
like it wasn't a detriment. And the reason that I think Alice really works is because she has, like two of her skills switch over between ice and lightning. And instead of just having, like, she already has some bonuses to thunder and to ice damage in general, so that it helps both of those get up. But then she has things that just modify the skill itself. So, like, skill 1 plus 20% damage or whatever it is. Skill 2 plus 30% damage. So, like, it's not element-based, so it allows you to still have good damage no matter what you're flipping to, which just makes her hyper-versatile. So, I hope that they continue that trend as they do more dual-element units in the future, because it seems to be working.
Actually, her S2 and her ult are the only ones that have ice conversion.
Yeah, so those are the two.
Or
But-
ice and thunder.
Yeah,
I mean.
but like her S2 is really helpful for that as well. But then like when you're fighting given one, then you can just be like, okay, against lightning stuff, I get to spam S1. Against things weak to ice, I get to launch a couple big mega lasers at them and then just spam S2. You know? But the thing that's also beautiful with her is like, because S2 is also her movement, the S2 combos into either S3 or S1. So like no matter what you're fighting, she always feels awesome. She feels so good to play. And yeah, you don't really have to like change her build to like make her work between both of them.
Maybe next year I'll get her whenever she comes back. Maybe like the Valentine's collab. Gosh, man.
Ooh.
I know I missed out on her.
Yeah,
And I did try to get her because I knew what she'd be capable of, and I was right. She's a fantastic.
Oh,
unit.
she's a beast. She's for sure. Like when I saw her, and I was like, okay, well, she definitely can do some damage, but she's not lug levels, and that was, I was in that mindset. All right, well, anything that isn't like lug, I don't care. But after getting her, she reaches her damage on. Oh, it's funny. A small tangent too. I think it's much easier to reach damage cap with Salas than it is with lug right out the gate.
Oh yeah.
From having used both, Salas is definitely easier to reach damage cap without having to invest a lot into her.
Yeah, Like, she's clearly a new player-friendly unit. Like, for me, as far as elemental units go, if we need to pick, like, reroll units, we've already talked about, like, Baran and 2B are, like, probably the best that we have for options. But if you're going to have an elemental DPS be your main starter, I think S. Alice is by far further above, like, all the other units. Like, she's right up there with them with the free stuff she comes with, between Ether Release, Dual Wield, Proud Force, the expensive crit stuff for a crit prep package. Proud Force, like, you don't even need a support, really. Like, and the fact that she splits elements, the odds of you being against things that are weak to at least either Thunder or Ice, like, usually you're not going to need Trish for a while, you know? So, like, she's pretty nutty. I like it. But, unfortunately, she's also limited.
Yeah, no, I like kind of like her cheese. You know how when she first came out, we had, like, she was like that person who nuked, you know, they nuked all the bosses really quickly. I like how they kept that algorithm with her, because now look what she's doing to Mother in this time trial.
Yeah.
It's absolutely insane. And I'm like, well, I was like, she went from light cheesing to now to thunder cheesing. Like, it's like, I'm glad that they're carrying over these attributes with her and stuff like that. And it just makes me more sad that I don't have her.
I did want to mention, well, just I guess, me and Zero, or I had mentioned to Zero about the starter units, and it was between Baran and 2B. And now that you mentioned Salas, I think in terms of, like, package wise, like skills, what they come with, I think maybe Salas would be the better new unit or new starter unit. But in terms of, like, overall progression, I still feel even with 2B and Salas, Baran is still the best starter unit. Yeah, because that super armor and the ruination, it's unbelievable. It's
pretty invaluable.
It did so much. Yeah. But anyway, I just thought I'd mention that.
Yeah, cool. Oh, and somebody else also mentioned, Freakazoid in chat said, in Arena too, S. Alice, her S2 really helps in today's meta, since an S2 from Alice just instantly kills Roy. Like, there's almost nothing you can do about it. It just completely obliterates him. I've tried to build against it. I can't survive against Alice with my Roy. I just can't. But yeah, so fun stuff. She's pretty great. Though on the topic of limited stuff and how that happens a lot, as we've talked about, between, you know, collabs becoming the new DOH and all that fun stuff. Since it's inevitable to probably get like 5 to 20 more collabs this year, what kind of collabs you guys want?
Okay, so mine's a long shot. Just because they did collab with Capcom, I would actually really like to see a Monster Hunter collab. I think.
Don't you mention that, boy?
No, man, it's something that I've been wanting for, you know, ever since Capcom. I never in a million years thought they would collab with Capcom, and then when I actually saw it, and it was like a dream come true, guys. Because, like, I grew up with, you know, Devil May Cry. It was like one of my first PS2 games. So, although it did take me a little bit to get into Monster Hunter, but I just there's so much in Monster Hunter that they could bring to Las Cloudia with fights from, you know, they could basically pull any 5 monsters into the collab, and it would be a boss fight after boss fight after boss fight, and then wave 3 could be like a trial of all 5 at one, or, you know, in a time trial. And then you have, like, in units, they have very similar weapons. Like, we have arch, we have snipers, we have big swords now. You saw A2 has a huge sword, you know. We have all types of these. Like, it almost like it would collab so well with this game. And the content would be phenomenal. I mean, imagine like a sprite Rathalos. You know what I mean?
Wow, you're gonna make me geek over here. I'm already nerding out.
Okay,
Jesus. Man, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, like my feeling on this is, like, to me at least, my understanding of Monster Hunter, because I haven't played a ton of Monster Hunters. I got really big into World when it came out, and I thought it was phenomenal.
Right.
But my understanding is, like, it's not about the characters, it's about the monsters. So, like, as far as units coming over, maybe I feel like there's probably not super iconic characters. So what I would love to see is have really compelling gameplay and events that we get, new really badass weapons to create by farming monster parts, and then we get like 3 to 5 unit shifts that are Monster Hunter themed. Imagine Monster Hunter Fall.
Yes.
The bow? Yeah, as a bow user, that'd be pretty cool.
Oh, dude, it'd be so sick. You just get like a giant, like, Diablos bow or something. Just like, there's some crazy shit. Like,
now that you mention this, I think a Monster Hunter collab would be really amazing, and I think it would have worked really well because Dragalia, I know they had a Monster Hunter collab, and they included Berserker, which is the greatsword user that is Rathalos armor and the Wrathwing greatsword.
Okay.
They also introduced I forget what her actual name is, but she's a female, and she was wearing the Kirin
nice.
armor, and I think she was using dual. I forget what weapon types are in Dragalia, but anyways, they gave her a weapon according to the Monster Hunter weapons, so I thought that was pretty cool.
Nice.
And I could definitely see that working in Last Cloudia for sure. One collab that here in the chat Koi says they want to see is Chrono Trigger.
Oh,
I don't know how you guys feel about that.
Yeah,
that is like hard. That'd be the hardest collab to get. They have so many licensing issues. It would be just insane to get. As much as I would love to see it. Yeah. Oh man.
Well, and the other problem is like if they're gonna do a collab, it usually only happens when there's something coinciding to like co-market,
right.
and like what new is happening with the Chrono Trigger franchise that would compel the company to even have a collab like that, Right. With FMA, it was a 20-year thing. With animes, it's usually a new season or something. With Nier, it was Nier Reincarnation is out, so like general hype about the franchise is sort of there.
True.
So like there has to be some reason outside of LC for them to have a reason to do it, at least on the franchise's side of licensing and things. So yeah, I think it could be cool. I think it's definitely unlikely though. For me, my number one is just off of an anime that I really like, and that's Black Clover. I've said it many times in many people's chats. I just think the units, like the characters in there, there's so much cool stuff that you could do. I think the standouts would be Asta. Who's his rival? Is it Yuno or Yuri? I always get his name mixed up because it's like Y in 4 letters. But you guys
tried watching Black Clover? I couldn't.
You couldn't really? You didn't like it?
Asta's voice at the very beginning, it just turned me away. Too much dance.
Oh yeah.
Why are you screaming for everything?
Oh yeah, he's real whiny and annoying.
Were
you on sub or dub? I mean, either way, he's really whiny. Okay.
Sub.
Yeah, either way, he's really whiny. But it does get better. And when he kind of becomes more badass, it kind of makes it feel more impactful when he was like really annoying. He still stays a little annoying sometimes though, but still really, really compelling. And then Yami is the other character that I would want to just like he's eventually like the guild master. Like it's not really a spoiler thing, and he's the guild master that's just sort of standoffish and just kind of this badass that kind of keeps to himself and kind of clowns on everybody. And he has a sword that just cuts through fucking dimensions like a badass. And like just the way that he fights, it would just look so cool in this game. But like I actually have like a pretty decent little write-up of like notes of like what Asta's character would be, and like I fleshed out like some random like traits and different sorts of types of things they could implement for mechanics, and he would just be so freaking cool in LC. I absolutely.
So you'd make him OP, is what you're saying?
OP but balanced in some regards. So like
you can't be OP and balanced.
Well, okay. So like you can be OP like Lug, but he has weaknesses, right? Like Luke has weaknesses, and there's other people that are more OP than Luke in some cases, but like they have other weaknesses. Like you can be a sidestep in OP. So like one of the ideas that I had was like his whole thing is he can't use magic at all. So like he would have bonuses that would help him in general be like really good, but one of his major negatives is to have like an innate minus 1000 MP. He can't use any form of magic, not even like Sharp Eyes or Celestial Mass or anything. Like anything having to do with magic is bottomed out. He can't use. He doesn't have access to that utility. But he could have
magic
things
or
like
MP.
MP in general, which means magic. Okay. It means passives that utilize MP. Like all of that would be locked out of him. But he would have other things that are really cool, like a stance shift that would cause 0 MP to switch between like Buster Sword and dual blades.
But that's still magic.
Yeah, he's not silenced though. Well,
you said you can't use magic.
What? It's not magic though. It's in the magic menu. Using an arc isn't magic. Balin switching stances isn't magic. So like, so 0 MP stuff that would just like shift stances. And another thing, it could be also a way of implementing something like utilizing your allies. So one of the ideas I had was like, so he would normally be like probably like neutral element, just because he can cut through resistances. He ignores magic completely, so it would make sense that he simply can't. He doesn't have to worry about magical resistances for ailments or for elemental stuff. Either that, or he'd be like a dark attribute with built-in Trish, basically. So like one of the two would have to be the case, I think. But something where he could, he has a skill that's also 0 MP and targets an ally, and it changes his attacks for 40 seconds to the element of like their S1. So like he absorbs whatever element his ally is in order to like be that type of DPS for the next 40 seconds.
That is some straight dedication, Zero, into already making a character that hasn't been made yet.
This is 2 bullet points.
Go work for Itis.
Yeah, this is 2 bullet points of like 20 I have. So like I'm not going to get into all of it because it's going to double the length of this podcast. But yeah, there's cool things we could do. I want to make some characters. Atis, call me.
No.
Let's do some collab.
Already created, bro. Like it's there. I'm pretty sure it's right in front of you.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's get together and do some stuff.
Someone mentioned here in my stream a Kill la Kill collab, which I have not seen. I have not seen Kill la Kill, nor have I seen Black Clover.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, the only thing that I know about Kill la Kill is in Grand Summoners, and there's Mako. Mako in theirs, you know, from what everybody says, she's OP in what she does. So I'm not sure how that would translate over to LC.
Yeah. I also have not seen Kill la Kill. I saw early stuff for it and was like, oh, that looks really cool. And then it came out, and it seemed like everybody was really like hit or miss on it. Some people were like, oh, it's really amazing, and then most other people were like, yeah, no, it just didn't hit. Like that's what I kind of heard, but I ended up not watching it myself, so I can't judge. But
I'll probably watch just for the skimpy outfits. I mean, what?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, there's lots of anime options for that, so it's still got to be good. That's not enough to get me these days. I can get that anywhere. I can go to Last Cloudia for that. I pulled my Booba Alice. I'm good.
My Booba Alice. Yep, that's all I need. Home screen looking real nice.
Yeah.
So, John, what would you want as a collab?
Me, collab. There's 2 things that would get me to like. I know people say wailing, right? Like people have wailed, and I've pitied 3 units or 2 units and then an arc, which I'm not too proud to say, but I've done that. That was more along the lines of like. It was in terms of like I want this kind of wailing. It was like I don't know, maybe like a 7, maybe 7 out of 10. But in order for me to like wail like with no question, it would have to be Monster Hunter for sure, and then it would also have to be from the anime. I don't know if you guys have seen it. Overlord.
Oh yeah, I could definitely see.
If Albedo was a unit, I would plus 20 her, no doubt. And I say that because I already have money set aside to plus 20.
Nice. Yeah. I can definitely see that. I haven't seen much of Overlord, but I have heard how popular it is and how beloved it is. And I have seen many other games do collabs with it, so I would not be surprised if that was on the list of one that we could potentially get. So that's totally within reason. I see somebody in chat as well also pointed out Berserk. I know that's super popular. I could see that being a thing too.
Yeah.
I didn't get into it that much. I'm sure I would like it if I let myself, but I watched the first couple episodes and I didn't dig it. So don't hate me, but like, I don't know.
I've only watched the anime. I'm on anime only. Like I don't read manga. I know manga has everything, but from the anime, from what I've seen, like the animation in the anime was it was a little bit weird just because I never really saw anything like it. But it grew onto me and it was like, okay, well I don't mind this. I mean, it's not my most preferred, but I don't mind it. Yeah. And I did watch it through, and a Berserk collab would be pretty interesting. Will it happen? I don't know, but it'd be interesting.
Just because we're on the anime topic, another one I'd like to see is The Rising of Shield Hero. I just love that show.
Ooh.
It's great.
Ooh, yeah.
I think there's some great stuff we could do there, and I've seen them already do some collabs with some gachas. I think he was in Grand Summoners, I believe.
Yeah, the collab's still going on.
It's still going? Okay, yeah. So
yeah,
I've definitely seen it some places. So that could be pretty cool. Yeah, what else? There was a different one I was going to say, and I I lost it.
Well, if you wanted to just bring ideas, Grand Summoners has had a lot of collabs. Like they had One Punch Man collab. They had some Golden Kamui. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with that.
Yeah, I haven't seen all of it, but the little bit I have seen, I was very impressed. It was super good.
So they've had those, Kill la Kill, Shield Hero, tons of other stuff.
So
a lot of reruns.
So I don't know if it's still running because it's been a little while since I caught up with it. But an anime that I've always absolutely loved, Food Wars.
Oh my God.
Let's get some Food Wars shit up in Last Cloudia.
I wonder why you watch that, sir.
I mean, I really enjoy the science that they actually bring to it, like legitimate science behind like the cooking stuff. It's just super fucking cool. I mean, obviously,
definitely
booba,
not
but
the clothes ripping off when they eat the food.
I mean, it's over the top.
But,
like, I love the concept of like I believe that I saw the origins of it, and that like conversation of like how it came to be was basically like two friends getting together and one of them just being like, oh yeah, I made this anime that's really cool. It was just like about soccer or something, whatever it was, like something mundane, and making like this really epic anime about something that's seemingly simple, and just like betting their friend to like, well, could you make a really, really epic, intense cooking show? They're just like, challenge accepted. So like just that is what Food Wars is. It's just like super over the top, like make the most mundane thing super intense and interesting, and that's why I love it. But yeah.
Someone here mentioned Goblin Slayer.
Oh, Goblin Slayer would be sick. Yeah.
If a Goblin got his shift or something during that, that'd be pretty funny.
Dude, yeah, that'd be great. If that just came in the update with the collab, that'd be wonderful. We get like Goblin King or something as a shift. That'd be super cool.
Yeah, so we just had a video game collab. So now we're probably aiming towards a anime collab next. So I
Slime
mean,
rerun. It has to be. Come on.
if it's not Slime rerun, it's gonna be Zero, one or the other. Which preferably I'm gonna pick over Zero before Slime run, just because I would like to get Rim, and she might come with some buffs, so she's probably even nastier than what she already is. And she's a non-attribute attacker.
Yeah, worst case, I'd expect 5 stars, so that's buffs by itself. So
yeah, so
yeah, that'd be cool. If I had to pick one to come first, I would also be on Slime though, just because that collab initially was just a huge letdown, in my opinion. Like the things that we got.
Slime?
Yeah, Slime. Like the things we got were just kind of blah. The units didn't last at all. Like
Rimuru.
Yeah, Rimuru was basically a tanky mage, but like who cares? Like he served me well, but like he was hyper power crept by lag as far as damage goes, and like now if you want a tanky mage, Sekis is just far better because he's also top tier in every other regard. So like Rimuru just doesn't really have a place, unfortunately, if you have one of the other two.
So maybe that actually would be best for me. I would like to. I think I'm more of an arc person than I am a unit person, so it'd be nice to snag the arcs.
Yeah.
There's a couple of things that I probably take advantage of on some of those.
Yeah. Like I had mentioned, I pitied Milim, and I haven't since then. I had not used her up until that new UR boss fight, and I was like, oh wow, I get to pull out Milim.
Oh nice.
Let me see what skills I taught her, and I was like, all right, well, she's good enough. Let's use her.
That's awesome. Yeah, the arcs. I definitely wouldn't mind getting Milim's arc just because. Like it seems collab magic is the only good magic, and I heard that the special fire spell you get on there is as good as something like Holy Bolt, except fire element. So I'd love to have access to that, as well as like Ifrit, which is like baby berserker. So like I just love making janky builds where my units kill themselves for damage. So like if just having weird stuff like that, I totally want that extra damage bonus. I'll stack all that shit up. Happy to do so.
Yeah, no, okay. I'm kind of hoping not to then. Yeah, I mean, I'll take a hit on Rim for a little bit. I mean, we just got a non-attribute attacker, so I think she could be on the back burner for now. So yeah, all right, let's shoot for Slime. Let's get some arcs, man.
Let's shoot for Slime.
I think any interesting stuff we get though would be pretty cool. If they did. I will agree, though, if they did Monster Hunter really well, like give us an event where we're hunting monsters to collect parts, to craft things in the alchemy station, which was totally within reason.
Craft armor? That'd be sick. Because, I mean, that's Monster Hunter. You hunt monsters and you craft armor and weapons.
I mean, so that's basically what we do with Godforge now. Exactly, but, like, give us new bosses for that.
Yeah.
Like, Make it be a thing. Like they could even make the event like adding enemies to the God Forge. Like
they add this if they did
bosses,
they did do the collab and they added an enemy, and it would definitely be Rathalos. He's the staple of Monster Hunter.
Yeah, for sure.
So that would be
so
interesting.
Cool. Yeah, it would be great.
Also, think about longevity. Like this like a Monster Hunter collab, they could literally run it for 4 years straight, 5 years straight. There's just so much content in Monster Hunter.
So many monsters, man.
There's so many monsters, so many bosses they could add. I mean, they could even do like a mini collab Monster Hunt. Like, you know, they kind of already did it in the shift of the new story. There is an area where you're hunting monsters at certain ranks.
So what I'm really hearing is we don't want a collab. What we really need is for Capcom to just buy out Adis and then just take over Last Cloudia and then just make it Monster Hunter.
Yeah,
let's go.
Yeah, no, that's really kind of cool too, right? But on a serious note, like, yeah, I just foresee it, like, the longevity of this collab could just shift. You know, the content's already there. All they would have to do is get licensing, make the sprites, and then make it happen. Yeah. That'd be really neat to see. We probably wouldn't see anything like that this year. It looks like they might be just closing out the year with a rerun, and then next year we might see a return of something that everybody's been wanting, and then probably towards the middle is when we'll see this huge collab that, you know, we haven't heard of yet.
Yeah.
I'm actually really excited for the end of this year because, you know, with all these new shift units, I'm really excited for the next on the list, and then, you know, a possible rerun of something that we've really been wanting on the collab units to finish off the year. So
absolutely. So at this point, I'd say we have two options. We could close out the podcast. Otherwise, one other topic we could talk on if we wanted to was Arena and kind of where it's sitting right now and kind of what we can do about wherever it's at, whether it's good or bad or whatever. Does that interest you guys for today, or should we just wrap it up? We're well over an hour at this point.
I mean, I probably won't have much input just because I don't, you know, do it like that hardcore like you guys. All I would say is I just unga bunga, and if it works, it works. That's pretty much it.
Fair. Luckily, it's the unga bunga meta, so like you're looking pretty good these days.
Aw, shit. I just got spell render, so that was cool. I actually grinded for spell render. Never thought I'd do arena for that. I think I'll probably rank so that I could get at least 100 for that gold sticker. But as far as like changes and inputs on arena, I don't have much to say, to be honest.
Yeah. DK, did you want to talk?
You had a really good point though on the arena. I definitely think you should share what you feel like what should be done. I mean, I'll definitely share my input because this was my very first time reaching gold 1. I went ahead and bit the bullet and decided to climb because I'm super lazy about arena. I don't really like playing it that much anymore. But whenever this season did start, I was like, you know what? We're hitting gold 1. I'm getting my 3K free gems and my max mother souls, and then I'm calling it quits. So I was able to do that in a pretty short time. It was very frustrating and fun at the same time. Yeah. But what you said earlier this afternoon definitely would change stuff greatly in it. So
yeah, so my main thing is with the new units we've been getting a lot more of these kind of unga bunga units, you know, that just kind of instantly nuke things. And like before this burst down nuke meta, we were in this sort of cancer meta where everybody would just do stalls into Grand Cross or Blizzard, instantly God heal, and like you just couldn't kill anything, and then you're just miserable for like a minute and a half to 20 minutes, depending on how many God heals happen, you know? So it was just not very fun. So their answer to that was introducing new formations. One of them in particular was Spell Render, which gave everybody all the SCT charge that they want, fills up half of your skill stocks, and all of a sudden, all these units just started going, boom, everything's exploded. It doesn't matter how tanky you are anymore. You can't take this amount of damage. But at the same time of getting those and making the meta shift, we got Luke, and then we got Roy. And it was like, okay, well, now this is even more of a problem. And then, now we also have Shift Alice, and we have 2B, and we have A2, and they all will instantly just nuke stuff. And there's not much you can really do about it. Like, there's some weird, tricky things you can do, but it's almost impossible to make a defense that reliably can survive. So it just becomes, can I tactically nuke a little bit quicker than they can nuke, and then keep up the gas after respawns? Like, that's the meta right now, which to me doesn't feel that compelling anymore. Because, like, being able to counter someone with aggro felt cool for a little while. but now it's the only choice. It kind of feels like. So it feels a little bit stale, and I feel like we need a shift of some sort, and there's a few different ways I think it could be achieved. So I'm curious what they do it. I think the main one is also new formations. So if we got a new formation that just made it really, really hard to get those big numbers, like maybe there could be a formation that says something like your units no longer take critical hit damage and they no longer take slayer damage, but you take regular damage from magic. So like the negative is, instead of having the magic only dealing like 1% damage like it does right now, which makes it just CC, you open yourself to actually being hurt by magic, but it makes it so things can't instantly hurt you and you can actually go back and counter on people, maybe. Or, you know, something else along those lines, and just make something weird that maybe just punishes people for nuking, but at some sort of disadvantage to you. So I think some clever formations could shift the meta in some regard. Another thing that they could do is implement some other unique rules to Arena, similar to what they have with Magic. So Magic, and I mean physical damage, originally it was a thing where it's reduced, where it's like it was much, much harder to hit cap before. Like, trying to hit 9999 was almost impossible before. But with all our multipliers now, people can get over 20, 30k, and it's just a thing you could have, you know? But they could introduce something that's like, okay, in Arena, damage cap is still 9999. You don't get cap raises anymore, period. So, like, you have to probably be getting multiple hits at least to insta-nuke somebody, instead of just getting one straight crit that one-shot somebody. So that's something else that could at least adjust things a little. Another one would probably be the most controversial. I think half people would like it and half wouldn't. I used to be very against this, but I'm feeling a little different these days, I think. Which is, if offense was also auto only. So no manual control on offense, so it is just like defense. So so instead of having the person on offense having the significant advantage of like catering exactly what they need, it has to be an understanding of AI. Now, I think it would only work, though, is if they updated the priority system, which we still haven't gotten in PvE, by the way, and we need. But right now, it's a one-dimensional thing where it's like, hey, you get to prioritize this. If your unit can do it, they will always do it until it's no longer there, and then normal AI resumes. I think that we'd have to be able to have, like, at least 3 priorities and maybe set some sort of condition, like, okay, first prioritize S3. If it's not there, then we're going to do healing if somebody's under 20%. Like, I've played other games like some Final Fantasies and maybe like Kingdom Hearts, and I'm sure there's other JRPGs where like you can have, things where you can sort of tweak your AI. So then it would be an understanding and building of proper AI and their builds and the formation stuff, and then picking your fights so that your stuff can have a higher likelihood of winning, not just you being really, really good. I like being really, really good, but these days, when you can just nuke everything, you being really good means that nobody has any chance, almost, on defense. So I think that could be something that could change it, and maybe I would hate it, but it would certainly change things up, because it would make it much, much harder to climb. You have to understand the core of, like, AI much more appropriately. Yeah. And the way AI right now is in the game with only a single priority, I think it would be awful. But if we could have more control over that, I think it could be a compelling thing. So
yeah, one of the viewers here, friends Scorba, he says he's got 2 comments. One, no chance they'll make offense auto. People pray for those arena-based units, and then he also says, he's in regards to what you just said. He says what he's talking now is more like the first arena system that they teased us with. Then they gave us the trash that we have now. is what he says.
Yeah, I don't even remember what it was advertised as originally.
I don't either.
Yeah, I just remember them being like, "Hey, we're getting something," and me being like, "Yeah, it's probably gonna suck because Gacha PvP sucks." And then I started in it, and I was like, "Oh, this is pay to win. I'm not gonna do this anymore." And then I came back to it and was like, "Oh, never mind. I was just dumb and didn't know how to play the game. This isn't pay to win. This isn't pay to win." These days, though, it feels, I will say, more pay to win now than it did before. Because before, like end of last year, you could get by with pretty much anything as long as you understood the game mechanics and how to play. Because of the nuke meta now, you kind of need to have at least one super nuke Or it also helps to have things like from the ReZero collab. From Zero is really, really huge in survivability. So if you want a chance of winning that first 10 seconds, like having that limited arc from last year is really helpful. So that's kind of sad, but I think it's mostly an issue up in like super ranks. I've talked to some people that are still down in normal PvP, like newer players, and it seems like the metas down there are still kind of like they used to be, which is really promising. So it seems like new players don't deal as much with the garbage we have to up in super. So yeah.
Super is going to be the top 10 metas over and over and over again. It's a pretty wild thing right now. I guess I did have a lot of fun at some point climbing, but then I started it got really boring just playing the same units over and over again. And then I see some of my buddies are in regular, and I'm like, oh man, look, they're fighting Celios, and they're fighting like there's a Tinkili, like I mean, there's all types of units that people. Logia, like back in the old days, where Logia was actually really, really good in PvP. It was really interesting to see all that. To super, I feel like although super has the best rewards, it kind of killed it for me a little bit. But and it took me almost 2 years to finally like go ahead and climb up the ranks and stuff just to kind of see what it was like to get to super 1. But I'm gonna tell you right now, I probably won't do it again. I'll be real with you guys.
Something else that I don't know if it's what was meant, but somebody in chat said Thorn meta, and I don't know if it's really what he means, but like if we got some new units or new skill we could put on that made it for like wave start for the first 10 seconds, like reflect like 50% physical damage, that would be a sweet counter to the nuke meta.
Jesus. Yeah.
Kill yourself.
Another topic actually I was going to mention, but I completely forgot. Did any of you guys watch or join the Q&A yesterday?
No, I did not get in on it.
Oh no, I didn't
know it was up.
No,
I didn't know it was either.
Well, basically Q&A doesn't stand for question and answers. It stands for questions never answered. But I went ahead and asked about my rainbow. To say I got no response, and most of the questions that were asked,
that's crazy.
No
responses,
bro.
Yeah, I mean it's sad, but it's not really going to change the game that much. Sorry, man.
Yeah, most of the things that were asked were like quality of life and stuff like that, but they were met with like, oh, that sounds like something that we could do, or maybe in the future. So needless to say, nothing promising came out of it. Yeah.
So like eventually, probably, but not soon on the roadmap.
Maybe never.
Yeah.
Well, one question that was asked, I forget what it was. Somebody asked Take-san what he liked to eat or what he ate or something, but Take-san mentioned that he lost 6 kilograms of weight from eating vegetables. So that was pretty random, but it was pretty funny.
Sure. All right. Cool. So yeah. Anyway, closing out the arena thing. I hope that something comes. My preference would probably be formations. Along with those lines, I think having some sort of a meta shift in like passives would be really, really good. I've talked about this with some people in the past, but if it was something like on certain damage types of units, maybe like gods minus 75% physical damage for this season, and like plus like basically having normal magic damage or something, and like you have weird stuff like that that's just a passive overall like change that lasts one season and just kind of changes the landscape of things. So you have formations changing things, and then you have an overall like field aura that happens that just changes the scope of how things work. Maybe all physical damages are bad, or like maybe backstab damage is hyper potent, whereas like slayers don't do anything, or like, you know, just something to change what units could be highlighted would be good. And also on formations, I think it'd be cool if they had a cycle of them. So maybe like every season they give us one new formation, and then like there's only 4 others that are even usable. So like some seasons, spell render, not even a thing. Like it's cycled out until like a future season when it comes back into the group of like things that we get to work with. So like every time a new season resets, it feels like a genuinely new atmosphere that we need to like learn and understand in order to survive in arena. So.
Yeah, I think arena changes would be would be interesting, but if I'm gonna be honest, I don't think Arena should be their focus, if any at all.
Yeah.
They definitely
it's sad,
should.
but I agree. Like,
Yeah, it should tend towards the game.
I was gonna agree too. I was like, dang, I kind of agree with that too. But I would love to.
Like-
but he's right
Well-
though. Formations would kind of do a little bit. Would go a long way. Just simple formations. So it would have to spend so much time on it.
Yeah, I think they're the main. Like, if they were to like tweak, something, I don't think Arena should be. It definitely should be the game itself. And to be honest, in my eyes, I think Last Cloudia is just it's a PVE game with the option of doing PvP.
Yeah.
And just something real quick from mentioning the Q&A. They never answered about tower skip. So that's not gonna happen anytime soon,
Sad,
which is unfortunate.
but oh well. I'm used to it at this
But
point.
yeah,
So,
I
somebody
had
in chat.
so much fun doing tower.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing like babysitting your phone for 3 hours. Yay.
Right? Yeah, no.
Somebody in
that.
chat just said it'd be nice if Adis would show us a timeline of their work. Yeah, I would love if we had like
Shit, even a roadmap.
I'd love to have a
great.
roadmap.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, a roadmap would be crazy if they were just like, hey, we have multiplayer dungeons coming in 3 months. Like we have these set type of quality of life coming in December. Whatever it is, like, and then update it every month or whatever. Yeah, that'd be really,
Instead of
really
surprise, you get a collab in like 2 days.
great. Congrats.
Hope you're ready. Hope you saved your gems.
Yep. Enjoy
After
the whiplash from the
collab
last
from
one.
last month. Yeah.
Hope you enjoyed the last one, clapping your cheeks. Enjoy your 0 gems for this one.
Man, a roadmap honestly would do so much more than it would do a lot for the community, and it would do a lot for Idis's reputation, like how people would think of Idis.
I agree. The more transparent they can be, the better.
Yeah, transparency is always nice.
Yep.
But aside from that, anything else you guys want to mention or
I don't think
talk
so.
about?
I think I am good to go. So I think we're good to wrap this up unless you got something, DK.
Nope, that covered the agenda for today, for sure.
Yeah,
Sweet.
It's pretty dry recently in LC.
Everybody's just kind of
And then-
finishing up their last minute farming, getting their units up before the collab ends in a couple days. And then we'll probably see a new unit ticket or perma. I'm kind of curious to see who the new perma might be. Just kind of following like the algorithm of the way Adis does certain things.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to use some tickets. So they're snacking right now.
A viewer here, Koi Boy, he says for you guys to fight him in Arena. I'm not sure how exactly you could go about that, but he wants to challenge you guys in Arena.
Hit me up in Discord. Give me your friend link. Or, like, give me your
actually,
friend
no,
code. That's all you do
I
is you just get your friend code and you can just search for any ID and fight them.
What's your
I
friend
actually
code, Koi?
I have fought him several times in Arena.
Koi Boy?
Yeah, he actually has a pretty solid defense team.
Good.
Yeah, he's a lot of fun to fight.
I would love to.
Yeah.
I want to
He's
get my
very
cheeks
adamant
clapped.
about you guys fighting
But
him.
I have beaten him almost all the time, though. I'm not.
Oh, never mind. Damn, Koi, you just got schooled. Roasted live.
Oh, man. But yeah, that'd be
Nah,
great.
but
If anybody has any sort of tips for how to thrive in this metagame, though, obviously we just have our 3 opinions here, and Jawline doesn't even do much for Arena anyway, so if anybody wants to, hop over to the Discord and come chat in my Arena chat. I really enjoy it, so let's have some fun. I'm probably going to be doing another stream after we're done with the pod tonight, so if anybody wants to hang out, probably going to maybe do some world bosses or my time trial or whatever I have time for, so if anybody wants to hang out, come chill. Go check out DK and Jawline. Got their links down in the description below. And yeah, till next time, go forth and murder things, gamers.
yeah, thank you guys for tuning in, man. Appreciate all y'all's love.
See you guys.